So if you haven't heard how great Surf City, North Carolina is, you've probably been hiding under a rock. This video though is only gonna skim the surface on the good things about Surf City, and we're gonna talk more about the bad and the ugly part of Surf City, North Carolina. Let's hop into it. I'm Avery with American Home Team at eXp Realty, and as much as I love making these videos for you guys about all things Southeastern North Carolina, I would love even more to help you with your real estate needs. That phone number and email address on the screen is the best way to get in contact with me, whether you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days or 9 years. Feel free to reach out, let's have a conversation, see how I can best help. All right, and the first good aspect about Surf City is that the real estate here is pretty affordable. Now, Surf City does include a pretty large range, and so we're not only talking about island properties, but even if you wanted to be waterfront, it's still very affordable compared to a lot of other coastal towns. If you're in the town of Surf City, and let's say you're on mainland, you can find real estate, pretty cheap in the 100,000 range, 200,000 range, and that sweet spot sort of being that 350 to 550 range. And you can even find some island properties, whether it's a condo or a townhouse, for that 150 to 350 range. You might be looking at a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 350 square feet, something like that in that price point. But still, you're getting on the island for under $400,000. Now, if you're looking for a beachfront property, if you're looking for a single family detached home on the beach, you're gonna approach that $1 million price point. But with that said, I don't know many beaches along the coast that you can get on under $1 million. So Surf City having that price point from basically $300,000 up to $3 million or $4 million as it's approaching right now in this current market, I feel like is very affordable compared to a lot of other beach towns in the United States. Now with that, in terms of affordability, we'll discuss a little bit later as far as insurance and some of the costs that are added onto the home price that will jack that price up. But second to the affordable pricing in Surf City, we're gonna discuss the things to do. People come here for vacation, but there's also a lot of full-time residents that live here in Surf City. And so one of the things that makes Surf City such a great area is its central location. It's smack dab in the middle of Wilmington and Jacksonville. So if you're looking for bigger city amenities, things like the trampoline park or shopping malls, shopping centers, things like that, you can drive 30 minutes each way and you are in one of the bigger cities to get anything that you want to get. But with that said, Surf City does offer a lot, everything from restaurants to breweries, distilleries, to boat rentals, jet ski rentals, to just hanging out on the beach, right? There's some things being built here soon in 2025, like a bowling alley and just a hangout spot, as well as a roller skating arena on Topsail Beach, which is not too far at all. It's only about a 10-minute drive on the island. There's an escape room on the island, as well as some places to shop for whether it's souvenirs, whether it's clothing, whether it is muck boots or surfboards, things like that. One of the biggest things for locals to do is get surf lessons. If you're not into surfing already, get surf lessons. It's pretty affordable. I think mine was like $90 for the surf lesson, and you're out there all morning learning how to surf. But obviously that is a hobby to pick up as you live here because you want to make the ocean part of your daily lives. And with that, the Surf City Community Center is currently being developed. There are football fields, soccer fields, baseball fields, as well as walking paths, tennis courts, pickleball courts, playground, dog park, and now they're building out a skate park and expanding the athletic facilities at the community center as well. So, it's bringing a lot of activity here to the Surf City region. But some of our favorite things to do here in Surf City are attend the many festivals, go to the restaurants, hang out, get a glass of beer, have a family dinner on the water at Daddy Mac's or Buddy's or one of the other restaurants nearby, and just enjoy time with family and friends with such great weather here in the area. It's a laid-back lifestyle. It is pretty walkable from the restaurants to, the parking areas to the beach, and some of the shopping. And there's just a lot to do, a lot to eat, a lot to drink in the area, and there's a lot to do for the kiddos too. There is the Karen Beasley Turtle Rescue which is fun to go and tour and learn about, and then also participate in some of those things. There's the touch tank for the kids. So there's a lot going on, whether you're an adult or you have kiddos. There's something to do for everybody. And Surf City has pretty much everything you need on a daily basis, from groceries to your gym to, you know, car washes to little mom and pop stores to get, you know, whatever you need to get. It does have all of your daily essentials. But moving into the bad section, the bad is that it is 30 minutes away or so from a lot of your bigger amenities, your big box stores, right? Your big mall shopping, that kind of thing. You do have to get on to Highway 17 and shoot either north or south to get into Jacksonville or Wilmington to get some of those big stores. So those of you coming from bigger areas, whether it's Miami, whether it's New York City or San Diego, and you're used to your conveniences, your big box stores within a 5-minute drive or even walkable, that's not gonna be this area. It's not gonna be Surf City. You do have to hop in the car, get on the highway, and shoot down north or south about 30 minutes to get some of those big box stores, because we don't have a super Walmart. We do have the neighborhood grocery Walmart. We do have Food Lion. We do have Harris Teeter and Publix for grocery shopping, but we don't have, you know, the big super Walmart. So, you know, things like your desk chairs and tables and things like that, you're not gonna be getting here in this area. The other bad part about Surf City is that, you know, we do have our family practitioners, we do have urgent care here, but it is a bit of a haul to get to an emergency center. So those of you that are planning for babies in the future, or maybe you're elderly and you need some medical attention, right? This is a fantastic place to retire. It's a slower pace of living. There's a lot to do for retirees. However, it is a bit removed from your bigger medical facilities. But with that said, Hampstead did just develop a Novant Health Emergency Center, so it took the drive time from about 35 minutes or 40 minutes down to like 20 or 25 minutes, right in Hampstead, right off of 17. So it's a great location for us here in the Surf City region. If we do need that emergency help, we can shoot right down to Hampstead. But you know, the bigger hospitals and stuff with bigger triage services and stuff, Jacksonville and Wilmington, both north and south, about 40 minutes or so. So something to think about. But if you have like diabetes or something, and let's say you rely on dialysis centers or whatever on a you know, a daily basis or whatever, we are within a short commute to those areas. There's dialysis centers and practitioners and such right on Highway 17, as well as Highway 210. So really not that far from Surf City at all, a couple-minute drive. But once again, your bigger centers are gonna be in Jacksonville and Wilmington, which can be about 40 minutes. Now, another bad part about Surf City, and you know, I say this once again very loosely because this is our bread and butter in terms of revenue here in the area for the municipality, but it is tourists. We get tourists beginning in like April, May timeframe, and they don't go home until basically the end of August into September. So for those of us that live here and we frequent the beach and we frequent the restaurants and this is how we live our life, it can be pretty annoying when we're backed up in traffic just trying to go to the grocery store for our weekly groceries. It is kind of annoying when we have an hour wait time at some of the restaurants that are highly frequented by tourists. It is annoying when we have no space on the beach in Surf City because of the tourists. But with that said, as a local, you can reach out to me and I'll give you some of the local secrets, places to go to get a little bit more elbow space on the beach, as long as you're moving here. If you're a tourist, I'm not giving you that information, but if you're gonna be moving here, I'll give you that secret so that you get a little bit more elbow space on the beach and you're not, you know, shoulder to shoulder with umbrellas and stuff right next to each other. But that definitely can be a con. I know that I've been trying to go to the gym at times here in, you know, June, July, August, and it takes me a good 30 minutes to get to the gym, right? Because of traffic, when otherwise it might take me 10. So you will be in traffic, and if you're coming off the island during peak season, during, you know, the tourist season, at night, you're gonna be stuck on the island for a pretty long time. I always tell people, you know, fill up on gas make sure you have at least a half tank before you get onto the island, because if you're coming off in the evening and you're stuck, I mean, there's only one way in, one way out of Surf City. You can go down to Sneads Ferry, and typically, you know, the traffic is relieved a little bit, but Surf City traffic can get pretty bad. So keep that in mind as you move here, right? Peak season, it's gonna be a bit touristy and it's gonna be a bit slower. Now, moving into the ugly part of Surf City. Like I said, there's so many pros of Surf City. There's some things that aren't so good, and then there's some things that are really bad. And one of those things is the weather, right? We do live in a very mild climate. We certainly don't get Florida type weather. It's not that hot. It really doesn't get that cold in the wintertime. And we don't get storms nearly as bad as most of Florida does, right? Which makes us a bit more mild. But with that said, we do still get hurricanes, we get tropical storms, we get cyclones, we do get aggressive weather. And so what that means for you as a homeowner is that your insurance is gonna be jacked up. It's gonna go through the roof, right? Your wind and hail is gonna be really high. Your flood insurance is gonna be really high as well. I've seen people on the north end of the island be in the $15,000 range for flood insurance. I've seen people higher and lower than that too. But your homeowner's insurance and your wind and hail is also going to be pretty high. Now, if you're on mainland and you're in a flood zone X, you're not going to be required to carry flood insurance. But I always recommend it because we are a coastal town. Surf City is, we hold water pretty well. We do get flooding. The streets will flood, which means your backyards might flood too. And so you'd rather be safe than sorry and get the flood insurance and not need it than not have it and actually need it. So get the flood insurance regardless, but if you're closer to the water, it's gonna be more expensive. And we did just experience a rate hike as well. So, you know, insurance isn't very pretty in this area, but it is one of those things that just comes with coastal living. So if you're willing to accept that, then move to the area. If not, you obviously might wanna rethink the move here. There are areas, you know, further inland like Holly Ridge and parts of Surf City that you don't need to worry at all, right? But once again, better safe than sorry. Now, the other ugly part about Surf City is going back to the tourists. A lot of the tourists don't care about this area like the locals do, which means that they will leave trash on the beaches. They'll go fishing and they'll leave their hooks on the beaches. And it's something that us locals need, you know, it's something that we take seriously, and we end up picking up all of the tourist trash, because otherwise it ends up around the turtles' necks. It ends up, you know, they end up eating the plastic bags, and it hurts the wildlife. And also, it honestly just looks trashy when you have trash on the beach, right? We're known as some of the cleanest beaches, you know, in all of the country. And we like to keep it that way. But we do have a tourist season, and tourists don't care nearly as much as we do. So they do leave their trash. And so as a local, it's very frustrating. And there's been days that I've walked off the beach emptying both pockets with trash. It's just a responsibility we have as locals, but it is an extremely ugly side of Surf City. And then the other part of the storms and the flood insurance and that kind of thing is the fact that our shoreline is receding. As with every island, for the most part, the shoreline recedes, right? We have erosion, and you know, the beaches kind of dissipate over time. You see it worse on the north end of the island, not so much Surf City, but there are areas that definitely erode and the shoreline recedes. So people, you know, you'll see people down in the comments that say that Surf City is going to be underwater in however many years, right? I don't know if that's going to be the case, but people are still buying real estate, right? People still want to invest in this area. People are still taking care of the area. And there's a lot of great projects going on to fix the shoreline and to make sure that our homes aren't being swept away like you see in some of the Outer Banks. You know, so there's some great initiatives that are protecting our coast, but it is an ugly part of Surf City that our shoreline is receding. But with all that said, guys, I hope you learned something from this video. Be sure to drop a comment, like this video if you did learn something, and the phone number and email address on the screen is the best way to get into contact with me. If you're looking to make a move, reach out, let's have a conversation, and we'll see how I can best help. But until the next video, guys, peace. See you later. Bye.